know it's magic. You know. Never believe. What is good, y'all? Sync here, and today I have more deck profiles for you guys, except this time it's for Charmer and Magistus, respectfully. Now, as a little bit of a background for me, I've been playing Charmers for well over 15 years now. I've been playing them since the day they released. Oh, I'm capping on that one. I actually played them since 2007, and fun fact, Charmers are actually the reason I won my first ever Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel against my brother. So it's safe to assume that, well, I've had a bit of a bias towards Charmers as much as I can. Like, if I can find a deck I can throw Charmers into, I will sure as hell take advantage of it no matter what I gotta do to do it, okay? So it's a bit of it's a large amount of bias, but it's more so that I just really am appreciative of what came out of me playing Charmers and what, that has amounted me towards. It's got me through a lot of my duels, and like I said before, if I can find a way to put Charmers into any deck, I can. And when they released Magistus, damn well I was so happy because, they work with level 4 spellcasters, and that's the Charmers thing. And so, of course, I'm going to take advantage of that shit, bro. Like, I was so happy when I saw Magistus drop, bro. Like, you have no idea the smile on my face. Then after I read Zoroa, then I read all the other Magistus cards, like, I was like a kid in a candy store, bro. I was just way too freaking excited, man, okay? But yeah, that's gonna be it for you guys, okay? Let's not dilly-dally, okay? And let's get started on this deck profile. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to show you guys every single piece of this deck's puzzle and then explain the role of each puzzle piece. Okay? So starting off with Wizard of the Black Forest. I said Wizard of the Black Forest. Wizard of the Black Forest. Wizard of the Black Forest is a simple card. You can already see the effect. When it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a monster with 1500 less defense from your deck to your hand. But you can't activate any of its card or effects this turn. Now, what you're going to be adding with Wizard of the Black Forest is going to be pretty much you can switch out every card in the deck except for Liliona. What you want to go for is definitely a Ruru. If not a Ruru, you're going to go for Damage Juggler. You do not want to search out one of the Charmers with Wizard of the Black Forest unless you have partnership ready. And we'll explain that when we get to partnership. As for the Charmers are, their role is simple. Their attack and defense being 1850 and 1500. And their varying attributes and all being level 4 are the only things that matter for this, okay? That is what makes them strong in this deck. Their stats, their effects don't really matter here. So we're not even going to go through that. Damage Juggler. Now, Damage Juggler's effect is what matters, okay? What Damage Juggler's effect is, when a card effect is activated that would deal damage to you, you can discard it and then negate the activation. And during the battle phase, though, you can discard Damage Juggler to then negate, the next battle damage you would take would then become 0. Okay, so if you're seeing like that one OTK deck that brings out the Numeron Dragon or whatever it's called, that brings out 9,000 attack, or is it 1,600 attack? I don't know what it's called. But whenever that thing gets out there, if I got Damage Juggler in hand, I'm safe. And Damage Juggler's third effect, yeah, a lot of effects. But you can banish Damage Juggler from your graveyard to then add another Performage monster from your deck to your hand. Performage Hat Tricker. Hat Tricker is a very good card. If 2 or more monsters are on the field, you can special summon them flat out. Now, when a card effect is activated that would inflict damage to you, you can place a counter on him, and when he has 3 counters, his attack goes from 1100 to 3300. That's really, really good. But it'll probably never happen. Who knows? But I run 3 of these because it's an easy summon, it's an easy level 4, and it's Earth at that. And I'll explain why the Earth matters later on. Next, we have Performage Trick Clown. When he's sent to the graveyard, you can pretty much special summon out another Performage monster, but its attack and defense becomes 0. And you can only use the effect once per turn, but when you do summon it, you take 1,000 damage. Now, Performage Trick Clown, in addition to Hat Tricker, that's the sauce right there. If Hat Tricker's already on the field when you use Trick Clown's effect, you don't take that 1k damage, but you still get the Trick Clown back. So that's a little food for thought for you guys. But Trick Clown is actually really good. You want to use Trick Clown as fodder as much as possible. You want him to be foddering off for Spirit Charmers. You want him to be foddering off for Crowley. You want him to be foddering off for anything you could possibly do. All right. Next, we have Fairytale Luna. Now, Fairytale Luna is a very good card all around. When she's normal summon, you can add a spellcaster monster for 1850. You can even normal summon a Fairytale Luna to add another copy of Fairytale Luna. I would run 3 copies if I actually had 3 copies in Master Duel, but I only have 2. I don't feel like getting a third one. Now, once per turn, though, in addition to that, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Your opponent can send 1 card with that monster's name from their deck or extra deck to the graveyard to negate this effect. Otherwise, you can return both this card and that monster to the hand. So basically, you're forcing your opponent to make a play with Luna. You rarely want to use her as like a synchro or a Xyz piece or a link piece. You kind of want Luna to be there because she's good just like as a standalone, okay? And she works very well in tandem with Charmers because of the 1850. Now let's go into the Magistus cards. Crowley. Crowley is a very good card. Now, you can summon Crowley by sending 1 spellcaster monster from your hand or field to the graveyard. And it actually comes out a lot when you want to make some big brain plays, okay? Now, while Crowley's on the field, you can declare an attribute and then Crowley becomes that attribute to the end of the turn. That really comes up only when you want to go into a link play with one of the Charmers. Say if I want to break into Hida because I'm doing against that rogue Salamangreat player, then I can take Crowley, maybe take a copy of some other spellcaster. Let's say Hat Trick for right now. You can take Crowley, Hat Trick, and then you can jump right into Hida. Then use Hida, take whatever card they have that needs their combo piece. Maybe get rid of their Balinks in the graveyard or one of their Sunlight Wolves. Now, as for the third effect, though, Crowley. Okay, so both Crowley and really Yona have the same third effect, okay? And this third effect is you can banish them from the graveyard and then target a Magistus monster you control and equip it with a extra deck Magistus monster that is currently in your graveyard. Very good card. And let's jump into really Yona next because she has the same third effect as Crowley. It'll save me some words. And when Really's normal summon, though, you can add a copy of one of the Magistus spell or trap cards from your deck to your hand, or you can return one of your banished level 4 spellcasters to your graveyard. Now, that second effect of Really actually comes into play sometimes when you want to make some like Mondo Giga Brain plays thanks to Performage Damage Juggler, or you want to normal summon the Really Yona and take a Crowley that was banished last turn, send that Crowley back so that you can then equip a Magistus monster with 2 from your graveyard. Now, for Zoroa is definitely the heart and soul. I would run 50 copies of this card if I could, bro. You can target 1 Magistus monster you control and equip it with a Magistus monster from your extra deck. Both Zoroa and Endymion have that same effect. You can target a Magistus monster you control and equip it with a Magistus monster from your extra deck. Now, the second effect for Zoroa is if Zora's equipped with the monster, if Zora's equipped with the Magistus monster, you can special summon a level 4 spellcaster monster from your hand or graveyard in defense, but its effects are negated. Your key targets for this effect are Witch of the Black Forest, because it gives you a search. One of the Charmers, because it's going to work in tandem when you want to activate Awakening of the Possessed. Or maybe even Trick Clown, if you want to bring back a Trick Clown if you have not already used its effect. That's going to be it for Zora. Now for Endymion as our last main deck Magistus monster. For Endymion, you can target 1 face-up spell you control, destroy it, and if you do, draw a card and then replace 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck. Basically, clean out your hand. Alright? You can draw, clean out your hand. Maybe you drew like a brick card that you want to get back into the deck. Maybe you drew something wild and crazy, like, I don't know. Maybe a copy of Awakening of the Possessed, Nefarious or Archfiend, okay? Now, Nefarious or Archfiend, you never want to draw this card. You never want to see this card existing in your hand at all. This is kind of why I run Endymion. Like, I don't want to see this card in my hand because you can special summon this card from your hand or deck by sending 1 spellcaster and 1 earth monster that is level 4 or lower. When you special summon, you can bring back a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard but negate its effects. What you want to do here is simple, okay? Say if you got Trick Clown and Crowley in hand, we're going to pitch the Trick Clown to activate Crowley, summon him out to the field due to its effect. Then we're going to activate Trick Clown's effect. And then we're going to bring him right back. That's going to take 1,000 damage. And then we can declare Crowley, make him an Earth. And by sending both of them to the graveyard, we can then go into our copy of Nefariouser. Okay, let's put Nefariouser out there on the field. And we can declare Nefariouser Archfiend's effect, bringing back either a copy of Trick Clown or Crowley. It's your choice on that one, man. But in this example, I'm going to bring back, let's say, I'm going to bring back Trick Clown. Yeah, let's bring back Trick Clown here. And then what you can do, personally, what I would do is, well, sending Archfiend and Trick Clown go into Lina. But depending on your hand, like you see here, we got the Zoroa play, we got the Spirit-Charmer plays, we got an Awakening sitting right here already for the Lina. You could have done so much more, but I just want to give you guys like a base example of what you could have done. So we automatically got the Lina out there, and then we get Archfiend's effect when sent to the graveyard to get a search for one of the possessed spell or trap cards. So we're going to activate another Awakening, okay? So just like that, we've got a Lina on the field with an Awakening and 3 cards still in our hand who can do who knows what, okay? This is what you're going to be wanting to do most of the time with Nefariouser for right now until Master Duel gets us the other cards that are needed for this combo that are currently in the TCG that I'll probably put in another video. This is the best we're going to be getting out of that card. A Ruru, therefore, is just as a defense mechanism. Pretty much every time that my opponent tries to attack one of my spellcaster monsters or do anything wonky to them, pop in a Ruru, then bounce that card back. I run the spellbook draw engine, triple copies of Secrets and 2 copies of Knowledge. It's just, I just like it because they're spellcasters. You can actually, like with Crowley, once you special summon Crowley, you can actually go into Knowledge and then either pitch the Trick Clown or Crowley to dig deeper in the deck to probably get like a better normal summon, maybe Reliona or maybe Zora. Then you get some big plays off of that. But just Invocation is just a polymerization. The only difference is that when you're summoning out for a Magistus fusion monster, you can also use the monster in your spell and trap zone. Next, we have Magistus Vistra. I don't know if it's Vitra. I call it Vistra. Now with Vistra's effect, you can just summon out a Magistus monster that is in your graveyard. We got Trish Magistus. Trish Magistus is actually a really bomb diggity ass card. So the first time each Magistus monster equipped with an equip card will be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not destroyed. You get one time, kid, one time. And on your turn, during your main phase, you can special summon out a level 4 spellcaster monster from your hand. You can already tell, like a level 4 spellcasters, that's what we do. Or you can send this from your You can send this card to the graveyard, special summon out any number of Magistus monsters with different names from your hand. Really good card. I don't know why I run 1. I could run 2, but it's like it's bricky sometimes. That's why I like to run 1 so that if I actually want it, I will go normal summon or get out Reliona somehow, some way, and then I'll slap down Trust Magistus, and we gotta play. And speaking of a play, Magistus Theurgy or Theology. I call it Theurgy, but yeah, let's just call it Theurgy. Now, Theurgy's effect is this. You can target one Magistus monster you control and equip it with a Magistus monster from your extra deck, graveyard, or face up on the field. You're never really going to go into that second effect ever. So that first effect is really what matters here. Because if your extra deck monster gets equipped to a Magistus monster, you're good. You're going to get some big boons if you pick the right card. For the Charmer spell and trap cards, we have triple copies of Awakening the Possessed. Awakening the Possessed is a simple card, okay? Monster you control gain 300 attack for every different attribute you control. Simple. And when you normal summon a monster with 1850 original attack or special summon it, you can draw a card. Simple, but effective when you got multiple copies. Because let's say this. Let's give you guys a little math lesson, okay? If I have 3 copies of Awakening the Possessed, and I normal summon a copy of Hida, this attack then becomes 1850 plus 900. Which is 2750. In addition to that, she cannot be destroyed by card effects. That's not bad. Like, that's really not bad. But this is actually the best case scenario when you have like multiple copies of this card, which isn't really hard in this deck though, but still, it's like, I'm gassing right now. Okay? Spirit-Charmer is a really good card. What you want to be using Spirit-Charmers for is to discard a copy of Trick Clown if possible, or one of your Charmer monsters actually. because you're going to be able to bring them back with Zoroa, or if not Zoroa, you're going to want to bring them back with the effect of Possessed Partnership. Possessed Partnership is a really, really good trap card. You can special summon out one spellcaster monster with 1500 defense from your hand or graveyard in attack position. And then if you control 2 different attributes of monsters, you can destroy a face-up card in the field. It doesn't target too when it destroys. So a good thing about Possessed Partnership is that you can also bring back Zoroa. So another way to get back to the boy. In Partnership's second effect is that while it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to bring back one of your possessed continuous spell or trap cards. Unpossessed, you just really want one copy of this card. You know, I like this card, even though I know it's kind of bad. But when I go into Nefarious Archfiend Nefariousness and then I send it to the graveyard, I get a copy of Unpossessed. And let's say I'm going against a deck like True Draco, or a deck that really just doesn't read cards. Pretty much every other Yu-Gi-Oh player. This card comes into play very, very well because it gives the Charmers the boost of 800 attack while they're attacking. Now we can go into the extra deck, okay? I run 2 copies of Iwas, 2 copies of Ram, a copy of Cowboy, a copy of Ninaru, 2 copies of Reliona, 2 copies of Artemis, and 1 copy of all the Charmer links. Now, starting off with Iwas, I run 2 of these because one, I'm going to be fusion summoning to use the effect to target a face-up monster in the field, equip it with Iwas, and then gain control of it so I can take an opponent's monster, or if I need a boost to one of my Magistus Monsters, give them a boost of 1000 attack because whatever monster Iwas is equipped to gains 1000 attack and defense. I'm going to take my opponent's Eldlich and he's going to keep that 3500 attack. And then some. Alright, next we have Vram. Now, Vram is a very, very good card. In fact, when you're going turn 1, you're going to want to get Vram first. Okay, that's your go-to. When he is destroyed, after being synchro summoned, you can destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls. Now, when he is equipped to Magistus Monster, that monster cannot be destroyed by a spell and trap cards. And in his last effect, while he's equipped, is at the start of the damage step. If Ram is equipped to a Magistus Monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster. So, really good card. Cowboy. Ninaru. Ninaru is a really weird one, okay? It takes 2 spellcasters to summon, but her effect is this. You can attach 1 material from Ninaru to then add a spellcaster monster from your graveyard to your hand. I only want 1 copy of this card because I use her for her equip effect. The equip effect of Ninaru is you could target a Magistus card in your spell or trap zone, pop it, and then pop a spell or trap card your opponent controls. Say if I'm running to a skill drain player, like one of those Eldlich players, okay? This is why we run Theology at 2. Have that Theology, then we get that Ninaru attached, by skill drain. Next, we have Reliona. Now, Reliona is my girl, okay? That's my baby. What Reliona's effect is, you can attach material from this card, special summon out Magistus Monster from your deck, but you are locked into only summoning Magistus Monsters for the rest of the turn. Well, from the extra deck, pardon. Now, while this card is equipped to a monster, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effect. Okay? So, let's go back to Theology. Let's say we're running to the, I don't know, Shadal players. Okay? Winda. Pop that Theology. Got that. I don't care. One of the Magistus monsters are going to hit the field because Artemis is a link 1. Okay? We can get a Magistus monster easily on the field. But at the activate Theology, Reliona, negate Winda, and resume play. Nastily, we have Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden. Now, Artemis's effect is when another Magistus monster is summoned, you can then equip that monster with Artemis while she's already on the field. But what I mainly want to use Artemis for is the target for either Theology, Zoroa, or what's her name? Endymion. Because when she's equipped to a monster, you can then activate the effect to add a Magistus monster from your deck to your hand. And after that, we got a copy of all the Charmer Link monsters because, well, they're good, okay? I ain't gotta explain that one, B. Now, if you want to see a copy of the baseline, just pure Magistus deck, I got you. All right, so for the pure Magistus deck, we got a bit of a difference, I'd say. Not a lot, but it's a bit of a difference. We got triple Ash Blossom, triple Witch of the Black, a singular damage juggler, triple hat trick, double trick clown, triple Crowley, triple Zoroa, triple Riley, double cheeked up with that Endymion. Still gonna run the Nefarious here, but I might still add in a copy of Awakening the Possessed just so I can get the search off of for Archfiend. It's like has some value to it. Okay, let's just add that in right now. Actually, hold up. There we go. We're just adding in the one copy so we can get some value out of it. All right, and we're running a copy of not Rilliona, Aruru. And we're still going to run the Spellbook of Secrets. As you can see, I still do not have a third copy, but I would if I could, but I don't, so I won't. And we got the double copy of Knowledge and a singular copy of Invocation, a singular copy of Vistra. Added in the Awakening, a singular copy of Trish, triple Magistus Theurgy, double Evenly Match, and triple Infinite Impermanence. Now, this deck, you see, already has the hand traps that I took out for the last one, but hey, that's just different. Just how it is. And for the extra deck, we're running pretty much the same thing as we kind of sort of the same thing here. We have double Iwas, double Vram, Cowboy, double Ninaru, double Riley, triple Artemis, a singular copy of Lina, who, by the way, if I had Dark, I would replace an Artemis with Dark, but I don't, so I can't. Selene, and Access Code Talker. And so that's pretty much it. I mean, you're running pretty much the same thing. You just have a bit more powerful cards in this one. Like, this deck is meant to actually, you know, take my opponent's cheeks, where the other one I'm supposed to, you know, enjoy my time while dueling. And so, yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this entire deck profile. I'd like to thank you guys for coming out here, sticking through it to the end, or if you dropped into it just to see the good Magistus build, I call it. Well, it's the pure Magistus build. I wouldn't call it the good Magistus build because, you know, it's just the one that has the most, you know, hand traps, all the other interactions in it, and all that good stuff people like to play in other decks. Where, you know, my playstyle of the game is actually a lot different than many other people's. In fact, people would say that when I play it's actually very stupid, but hey, if it wins, it wins. If I have fun, I have fun. But with that being said, I'd like to thank you guys for sitting down and watching this profile. And, well, I hope you guys get use out of the cards that I played. And, well, get use out of the cards here. And use out of playing Magistus. Maybe you're going to be playing Magistus. Maybe you're going to be playing Charmers later on. But either way, I'd like to thank you guys. And, well, have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Have a drink of water. And, yeah, that's going to be it. All right. See you.